Hello crafty viewers, for today's project we are making this beautiful Valentine's Day card using products that came out in the new January through June mini catalog, and sit back and watch how I put it together. Okay, let's get started with today's card. So today's card, the featured designer series paper, is this True Love paper set, and this just came out in the new spring January to June mini catalog, and there are several different patterns of florals in here that are all in black and white, which means that you can color them any way that you want. So I really like this one, but let me just walk through the other ones real quick. So we have this is lots of different flowers on here, some more roses with dots, little daisies, and stripes. This looks like maybe some hibiscus. Again, lots of different flowers on here. And for this card, we are going to be using this paper here. Now, I cut a strip that's 4 inches wide, and I am going to cut it to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut another piece off of this, because we're going to use the back of this sheet along with the front. So we're actually going to use both parts from this card, or from this piece of paper. So this is 5 1/4, and we're going to cut off a 2.5 inch strip. Now I want to choose the end of the paper that looks like it will give a good balance of background and flowers. So I'm actually going to leave this as the piece that's going to be the larger of the two pieces. So this is going to be the 2.5 inch side, and then this will be the remainder, which is 2 3/4 inches. Because I want this cluster of flowers takes up a lot of space. So that's why I want that to be the stripe. So because I do want that beautiful red color showing through. Now we're going to, while we have our paper trimmer out, we're going to take a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock, or if you're shopping for new white cardstock, you'll see that it's now basic white, and I'm going to score this at 5 1/2 inches. And this is going to be a top folding card. Because this is thick Whisper White cardstock, I am using a bone folder to make sure that I get a nice crease on that so the card stays shut. Okay, now the next thing that we have is I have a piece of basic black paper, and I'm going to use this die. And this die can be found in the Tasteful Labels die set. And it is this one right here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut this out of the middle of the basic black paper. Basic black paper is cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And this designer series paper is going to cover it up. You'll never see it. So why not cut our base that the words are going to sit on out of that? I'll be right back. Okay, here's our piece. Now, I'm not going to adhere this down just yet because I am going to wrap some ribbon around this. I'll set this aside for a minute. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to take my silicone sheet here and protect my desktop, and we're going to color in the paper. Now for this card, I unfortunately don't have real red markers. So I'm actually going to use this dark Poppy Parade Stampin' Blend, and I'm going to use the thin nib to do the outlining of everything, and then I'll use the thicker brush end to color it in. And that just gives me a nice edge that doesn't bleed into the part that we don't want to have colored. So sit back, I'll play some music while I color this in. If you don't want to watch all of that, I will have notes down in the show notes below that will give you some chapter markers so that you can just skip ahead to the end of the coloring with the chapter markers. Okay, now that our coloring is done, we can move on to the rest of the card. It goes together pretty easy after this. So we're just going to put this down onto the black card base. And there's going to be a 1/16 inch of a reveal on each side. So that is just a tiny bit of black showing on either side. The next thing I'm going to do before I do anything else is I am going to wrap my ribbon around the seam, and I want to have the bow over here on this side, the left side. Now we can adhere this down onto our card base. Okay, now we're going to work on our sentiment next. And for the sentiment, I have a piece of real red cardstock, as well as a little scrap of Whisper White cardstock. And the sentiment that we're using today is from the Forever and Always bundle. And these are the Always dies. So I've used these quite a bit on several different cards, and I am going to use the love on the real red, and then the frame on the Whisper White. And if you've been watching my videos lately, you know that I am very much in love with my little mini Stampin' die cut machine here. And it's just so handy to be able to just pull it over, use it, not have to get up and go over across the room to where my other machine is, my full-size machine. To adhere this down, I am going to use some of the fine tip glue pen, and I will admit this is my third fine tip glue pen that I've gotten, because I tend to forget to put the lid back on and they get clogged. So now I always do the L first because that sets where it's going to be on the back here, and then that will drive where I put the other letters. And using glue, it does give you a little bit of wiggle room before you're locked down in position. So I do like to use the glue for this. Now, I do have the adhesive sheets, and for a die cut not quite as fine, or if I was just putting a large piece onto something without trying to line it up like this, I would certainly use the adhesive sheets on a word if I was just going to put this down onto the back, for example. But because I'm trying to align this precisely, I do want to use the glue. All right, now this is going to go onto the piece that we cut out from the black cardstock. And we are almost done with this card. I'm going to put this up on some dimensionals. We're just going to pop this into the lower right-hand corner. And there we are. There is today's card. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to learn more about the products that I used in today's project, check out the show notes down below. I'll have a product list, and I sure would appreciate if you made your purchases through my online store. There's a link down in the show notes below. For other cards in the Love is in the Air card series, take a look up in the corner. There will be a link to all of the cards and playlist using this Forever and Always bundle. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.